All right. Last meeting of last meeting of 2020 for the ExO Economy. These meetings have been occurring on a weekly basis since late 2016. Now, the original meetings were just me and Salim, and then and Najib actually was involved in the very first meetings before there was anything else. When we were actually evaluating what technology to use, how do we want to do this? Do we want to be a standalone blockchain? Why are we even making a blockchain? Why don't we launch it on Ethereum? We fielded that question 1,000 times, and so it's been quite a journey if you think about it, right? So almost 3 years at this point, easily, and the chain itself is the token itself is 2 years old. And I just thanks to everybody that's here today. A lot of our colleagues for this call are gone already for the various holidays in the various countries. So this will be a shorter, hopefully we'll have a quicker meeting today, and it will get us all out of here so we can get on to our own holiday festivities. But I thought just realizing that this last meeting of the year with the core group of folks here, it's been unbelievable, the journey. And when we do project updates, I'll talk a little bit about where I think we're going in 2021 as well. I was hoping Eric would be here today, but I don't think he could be. Maybe he'll pop in a bit because he's going to be part of that with the new role that he's taken on, the project coordination role. And so I'll talk more about that when I go. So without any further ado, let's get into project updates. And I'd like to kick it off today, I think, with Michel, because Michel just had a big day yesterday. He's become a new father, and he would like to talk a little bit about what went on, I think, at least give us an update on Divergenti. And I hope it's a new sister economy for the ExO economy as well. I think that is the intent. So please, Michel, if you don't mind.
Well, after a few months of work and changing and going around, we came to we created a certain a platform, and with the help of Najib and Cesar and Michal, yesterday was the genesis of our blockchain, which has Diver as its token, and it was exciting to see it manifest on the screen with numbers that I never understood. Now I will learn more. I mean, I understand the hashes, etc., but it is much more complicated than I thought. Uh, it We went through the process for a few hours. Everybody was excited, and as I said, with this new tool or this new blockchain, we have a very big responsibility to keep it working, to keep it going on in a trustworthy manner. And I thank the group and the team for this work. I mean, from the front side, you don't see all of the work that went through it and all of the thinking and tweaking, etc. So once again, we hope to end the year with this big step. As I said, I became a father again at 63. It's a big sensation, and maybe more work will come. Thank you.
That's wonderful, Michelle. Congratulations on the launch of your blockchain. As I said in the call yesterday, I think I mean, Najib, what do you think? I mean, a few hundred people on planet Earth have ever actually participated in the genesis of a blockchain, if that.
Yeah, it's not really that many people
It's
that
got
really
to.
see. Yeah.
I don't even know. It might be less than 100. It's got to be small, and so, and it's a really special piece of I'm going to call it software. It's a really special piece of software that runs in a way that most of the world is completely unaware of and is possible. There's a reason Bitcoin hasn't been hacked. Bitcoin itself, right? The underlying network protocol and blockchain, and there's a reason why you can't turn it off. It's literally, it's completely different than anything else that's existed before it. And we got to do that. So that's super cool. Let's jump over to Cesar, maybe today.
Yes, from our side was a very interesting week. In addition to celebrating all the hard work from Najib and the developers and the board of Divergenti blockchain. Last week during the Decade of EXO event, we announced and we launched a new decentralized app that is running into the EXO economy. And I really believe that that's the future of the EXO economy. We call it DEXO because of the decade of EXO. But from my perspective and our perspective, who has been involved in the distributed ledger, we believe that that future for the next 10 years is related to a decentralized EXO, a distributed EXO, so all DEXOs, and also the future will be on dApps, because now on top of the EXO economy, on top of Rutanio, on top of Divergenti, on top of all the different sister economies, the whole community can start creating distributed application that will make a work a better place for all of us. So it's a great future moving forward. So very excited about that. Um, in addition to that, I didn't mention, but that was the application. It's called Certifico, and it's an application that allowed uh, people to generate or to allow organizations to manage an end-to-end solution for certification. So in this case, this first app is very much into the future of education and the future of budgets and the future of how skills are going to be important for our profiles. And it's a very cool app. So very happy on that as well.
Cesar, I don't think there's ever been a demo here. If after we do project updates, if you want to take a minute to show it, I think that'd be great, because it's one of the newest and most advanced examples of an application running against not only the Exos blockchain, but also one of the sister economy blockchains, Rutanio, at the same time, which is actually pretty amazing, right? So effectively,
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's an
I think,
application that is multi-change, because it's not only the EXO economy, Rutanio, but it's also into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's open standards, open source. It's a very,
yeah.
very, yeah, sure. If we have some time, perhaps with Najib, we can do a demo.
Okay.
So,
If it works. If not, we can do it at a later date when there's
yeah.
more people too. Might be fine too, but totally up to you. All right, great. Let's jump over to Nikki today. Nikki, how's it going out there?
Very good. The conference last week was awesome. Great content. I look forward to the replays so we can start clipping and promoting and all that good stuff. There was a conference back in March on the crypto economic systems. It was held on the East Coast. Digital currencies, MIT, a couple of other organizations were sponsoring it, but they're coming up again, and they're actually looking to launch a new journal in this kind of economic system. And they basically are calling for papers. And I understand you told me that Michael has done some research and may have some information that we might be interested in submitting. And they're also looking for hosts for future conferences around the world. So we could potentially be a media partner for them as well.
That would be amazing. So
Yeah.
we'll have to listen. We should take that offline and look at all the opportunities. What I mentioned was that Michael and I did Michael did the bulk of the legwork on this, but he did a huge sort of. He looks like he's on here. Economic analysis, if you like, of how the EXO economy works and how it might unfold. And it was, we were trying to look and predict and understand. And I think the work was really, really interesting. And we presented it a bunch of times across the network here, but it's been sitting there, and I think there's some value in revisiting that to see if it could be reworked, hopefully lightly, into a format that can be used as sort of a opening salvo, really, into this kind of conference for our team, for this core, right? And when I say our team, that's what I mean. I mean this group, right? I'm not talking about some other team. I'm talking about this group. So. Which would be, one would think, the beginnings of getting some recognition for some of the work that's been done, and also recognition for the blockchain itself. which would lead to better distribution, utility, and
Better this,
liquidity,
better that. Yeah.
which are always the three key things we're thinking about, folks: distribution, utility, and liquidity. Always, always. So yeah, that'd be great. Michael, you out there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hey.
Hi everyone. I'm just
Hey.
walking around the house listening. So Nikki, I'm well aware of that conference.
Okay.
So before the conference in March, there was one in October and November at MIT, and I was there when they announced that they will be creating this new journal.
Okay.
Now the catch there was that they gave maybe like 1 or 2 month notice to submit the papers. So for academic papers, since this is like an academic journal, it's a very tight deadline. So that's one thing. Now the folks there, they have very particular focus. It seems, that's my personal opinion, but recently their lab hired a person focusing on Bitcoin Core, and they also partnered with Federal Reserve of Boston to work on CBDCs, which is central bank digital currencies. So that's the thing. Now, going back to economics, yeah, we did an analysis, but I would say it's like fairly well, maybe not naive, but very simple. And now what I've been doing for the past few months is observing what's going on. So actually yesterday I found another lady, which is quite interesting because there are ladies doing a lot of good work and publishing books on crypto economics and a course there. So I'm curious to see like how that pans out, because we're still very early. So there is no single point of reference. And even this journal from MIT, it's a mix of hardcore computer science with like hardcore economics with some other things mashed all together. Maybe from other updates, if you have Ledger wallets, there was a data leak sometime during the summer, but someone exposed this information and sold them on the internet. So that created a bit of a mess and potential exposure for a lot of people who might have Ledger wallets. So just stay safe over Christmas.
Okay, great. And I only had one other thing, and that is I'm testing 2 wallets side by side, and they're staking wallets, and they're staking at different paces. So I was wondering if Najib, maybe you could speak to what makes a difference if you start with the same monies in 2 wallets and they're performing differently over time.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I'm the last one here with the updates. That's just good. I think pretty much everyone mentioned what we have been into these past a few weeks is into the Certifico and of course with our new baby Divergenti. But answering your question, as a very important point on not only in a proof of stake but a proof of work, similar to, but in proof of stake, even that we can see a balance in a wallet that it could look the same. I can say that you can have in a wallet 100 tokens and side by side another wallet with 100 tokens. Even though that from the value perspective are the same, from the proof of stake or staking process, they may not be the same. And this is a blockchain based in something that is called UTXO. And basically what it means is you may have 10, I would put it in an example, if you have $10, but you may have in another wallet the same $10, but in one you have a wallet with a $5 bill, a $2 bill, and $3, 3 single ones. But in another wallet you may have one single bill or 10. Equally value is 10, but from the proof of stake perspective, they are totally different, because proof of stake is going to look first if each of those, consider that even each of those are like a unit, $5 bill is 1 unit with a weight that is 5, but it's another factor on proof of stake that is for how long those ones have been created. Then to participate on the process of proof of stake, to participate at least, each of those ones that it has been created need to be on the system for more than 500 blocks. That means is if you are transferring, every time that you transfer from one wallet to, I would not even say one wallet, to one address to another address, even if those addresses are on the same wallet, immediately those tokens start to count to 0. Means from the block that you transfer to 500 blocks, those tokens, that amount, are locked and they do not participate into the proof of stake process. Then again, it looks that you have 10 and 10, but you may not have. And now, every time that you part of the process is a lot of statistics there, but just to make it simple, every time that you are creating a block by proof of stake, that let's assume that you create a block based on one of those one that it was $5 bill. Basically, at that moment, not only you need to wait 500 blocks, but that node of 500, I'm sorry, of $5 is divided by 8 pieces. In that sense, those new 8 pieces are now part of the new counting 500 blocks, but the participation is split a little bit to give more opportunity. If you see, then even though that you have a 2 wallet with 10, say tokens, it's important to know what is behind the wallet. And sometimes you may have a big chunk. Then, for example, it happened to us. We transfer 1 million tokens and we transferred in one shot, 1 million. That is not the same. And we already learned it, that if I transfer to the same address, 100 of the 100 to count 1,000. That is totally different because that may have more probabilities to create a new block on proof of stake than the one that is 1,000. Why? If I transfer 1,000, you say, yeah, you have a weight that is heavier than the other one that are 10 times 100. It makes sense. Yeah, but the chance is one. When you hit that one, you need to wait 500 blocks. On those 500 blocks, if I had 10 units, I will have more chances to do it than you. Okay. Then it's probabilities and how the tokens are divided. When you start that division, it's a limit, and I don't recall, but the minimal amount is 250. After it's 250, they don't split any more on half because it will be too small to participate. But it's important how you transfer and how you limit those ones, and in terms of statistic to probabilistic, for you to just to see if you have more or less chances to be. Remember, now let's go deeper into the process. Let's assume that you have 2 wallets with exactly the same number of tokens divided, to make it equal. It's quite hard, but let's just go there. Now you go very into the randomness, that there are 4 factors actually. One is, let's assume that is 3 people with 3 identical wallets, and then it's a moment to resolve the block. Then the first factor is, okay, I need, like in a proof of work, I need to hash the block. It's one. I may have an advantage because my computer could be faster, but let's assume that our computers are the same, okay? Then the second one is, okay, remember the fact that we even resolve the hash in our computer now is something that is very important, is how fast it can be broadcasted. In other words, if I have a good connection, remember, because whoever that broadcasts and the other nodes receive that information, the other nodes say, I received it first from Nikki before that it was for Cesar, and you had even before that Ken, and even thought that they were the same wallet and doing the same process. Then internet speed is something that when you are competing for those milliseconds or seconds, it counts, because, hey, if I broadcast first my block, hey, you came after me, the node to say is the order that we received. That then even though that it was the same process based on the same number of tokens. And you see, then you start to see that it was randomly, and again, you may have the chance, even if you have 1 million and I have 100 tokens, I may be able to even stake with 100, but because it's probabilistic, it's like to win a lottery, Oh, yeah, of course, if you had 10 tickets on the lottery, you eventually may win. But even with 1 ticket, you will win. You may have the chance to win. When you don't have the chance to win, when you don't buy the lottery at all, it's exactly here. If you don't have tokens at all, you would never be able to stay. But even if you have little tokens, you will be able, because it's some probabilistic there, some randomness, and chances are that, like when you win the lottery, with 1 ticket is what you need to get to make it. Then that is something simply. The terms more beyond that is there are multiple versions of proof of stake. We started a long time ago. I started with proof of stake version 1. In the version 2, it was some, this thing, when I say agent, is coin agent. The coin agent was part of the equation. It was removed in proof of work 3, because what it means on proof of stake version 2 with the coin agent, it means that not only after you have the requirement of 500 blocks or number of blocks, doesn't matter what is, it was if your coins were older, you had more chances. Then it was removed because it was giving them more chances for the people that was holding, tokens from a long time ago. Then that was removed in proof of stake 3. And right now we are in proof of stake 4. And it's changing a little bit on the structure of the blocks more than on the mechanism that, to get the reward. I don't want to go too much deep into the technical, but that is what is happening in general terms. I hope that it was clear enough to at least to try to get into what is proof of stake.
It's a good start. Thank you.
As we were talking about earlier, Najib, if you could dig up that document you wrote, it was pretty technical, but it was good. And then I'll dig up, Nikki, the latest version of the white paper, which I believe you probably haven't seen and you need to read. And then there's a section on staking in there. And then there's also a section on staking in the platform. If you go into our platform and search for staking, you'll find an article I wrote like a year ago or something. I don't know how long ago. And between what Najib just said, which had some information in it that we need to parse out and explain. And then between the post I made, the document Najib wrote, this recording, we actually have pretty much everything that you could possibly need for how staking works on ExO's, Ruta, and the new Divergenti blockchain. And some other blockchains too that are out there that we won't get into today. But with that, I just proposed in the chat that we should try to, and this might not be easy, okay, but we should maybe try to figure out how to make an infographic that is consumable, because that conversation for most people is not going to be particularly consumable.
Right.
So maybe if we could take a stab at it, Nikki, we could then show it to Najib and he could go, yeah, that's how it works. Or no, that's not how it works. That would be really good. And the fact that it would impact Divergenti, Ruta, and ExO's means we should all be incentivized to get this done. And you could set yourself up a tip jar and maybe you'll get, maybe
I take tokens.
You'll get all kinds of tokens, that can be used everywhere. All right. So, that's the future, by the way. In the future, I think everybody's going to have their own token. You'll have the Nikki, right? And then, we had a wonderful conversation, Nikki, with a colleague of yours yesterday, about some of this, right? And I mean, we barely touched it because we talked about 10 different things, but thank you for that, by the way. That was a really lovely conversation. He followed up already. All right. Thank you, Najib, for that. Hi, Bryant. How are you?
Good. I'm feeling well. Sorry, I'm joining late. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. No worries. It's recorded on YouTube for your viewing pleasure at a later date. Watching us in 1.5x is always comical. I think that, do you have any project updates you need to give today at all? Or you're still in the observation mode?
Yeah, I'm going to be like water here for a while. I've got some suggestions, and if you suggest a place where I or others can offer them, maybe at their stage of their journey, where maybe I could almost be a representative of that, and then I'm looking where I can really help accelerate this. We're all in a very personal future kind of state that you're talking about together. So those are my comments for now.
Okay, so I will give my updates next. We've mixed in a couple of things, so let's just do this way. Let me, before I share my screen, let me make sure I only share the screens I'm supposed to share. All right, so we use tool, we're experimenting, I should say. It is a live experiment of a tool called Sway. And we use Sway as a means of distributed governance and decision-making amongst our teams. So I'm going to share my screen right now and show you a bit of work that I did last week. So in Sway, what you do is you make, receive, and comment on and vote on proposals. I mean, in a nutshell. And that process helps you make decisions, ratify things, put it to a vote, and then decide if it will move forward. For example, when we bring on new positions here in this group, the person who eventually accepts the position creates their own job description, which some people think is weird, but that's what we do, and puts it on Sway, and then that gets ratified, gets voted on. Once that's done, then no one can ever say that they didn't understand what that job was, right? From the person who took it to the persons who agreed that it was what we all said it was. And that's a really powerful way to make sure that everybody understands what everybody's doing. I would argue that we all need to go through that process with whatever roles we're playing over time. Some of us have been in here a while, so maybe there's some redo work there, but I think that's it's a good process. It's one thing that we're doing in Sway. So what I did was I created a new space inside Sway. Well, we already had ExO Economy here, okay, which is everybody knows. So Bryant, I added you to Sway some days ago. I don't remember when. And so if you would like to make what literally we call proposals here, this is the place to do it. Is to come in here and literally make proposals, not challenges, but proposals here. Here you go. You go here and you select the challenge that you want to make your proposal for, which is going to be the one I just selected. And you go in and you put in everything. And you can represent anybody and by proxy if you like. We all proxy for one another all the time. Get it in here. And then everybody will be able, as you can see, for example, here are some accepted proposals in not that one, sorry. Wherever it went, they're in here somewhere, sorry. But you'll be able to see the past and you see how everybody voted and what conversations were had. This is how we're doing this right now and how we're testing this. And there are two places that exist. One is the ExO Economy area, and the other is the Open ExO Developer Network. And Bryant, you've been attending in both of those, so you know what I'm talking about there.
Actually,
so that was one of my.
That's really interesting. I'll make a proposal later for another test space.
Okay, awesome. And if you just want to make a baby proposal to start, if you've got something epic that you're dreaming about, then fine. But just get a feel for it. We're all getting a feel for Sway right now, so you'll find that maybe we have to get a little help from the team that makes it. Maybe we have to help each other. I don't know yet, but that's super exciting. Okay, so that's part one. Excuse me. Let me see. The other thing that I would mention today, and I'll just mention it because Nick, you brought it up at the beginning before we started the broadcast. Oh my gosh. We had an event last week called the Decade of ExO, and a bunch of members of this group presented at that event and in session. And so I just finished downloading while everybody was talking here, all of the sessions, renaming them all, finding the right pieces and uploading them all into a place where I can share them out to all of you. And then I will see about getting them loaded into the platform so that they show inside the Open ExO platform. I'm going to go ahead and start with that experiment and see about just putting sessions on the inside and presentations on the outside, right? So I think there's a good argument for that. Don't think I'll get any pushback. We'll see how that goes. Sessions are often very long, so not too many people want to watch an hour or 2 hour long session. Just generically, they wake up one day and they can't wait to do that. That's unusual. But inside of our world, inside the platform, yeah, absolutely. That happens all the time. So it's the in-network versus out-of-network kind of point of view of what's going on here. And as I was telling everybody at the beginning of the call, once we put all these sessions up in the platform, there's a search engine there. And actually, I'm going to show this here. I just want to remind everybody. So if you go and you log in to the Open ExO platform, which I have just done, you will go to the circles page by default. And then up here we have, you could search here, right? So Nikki, earlier I was talking about the article I made for staking. So here you go, part 4, wallet primer, part 2, staking ExOs in the ExO economy. So this is I wrote this, I edited it 3 months ago. I don't remember exactly when I published it. It's been around a while. So there's that. So folks, you use this search engine as part of your research. And if you comment on an older article, like Nikki, if you went in and commented on that staking article with newer information, it would surface back to the top. So that's a way to sort of poke it and make it filter back up to the top. Every now and then for important articles, I'll go in there, I'll just add like a space or a period. Don't all everybody go in there and start doing that to every article, please. That would not be cool. But at the end of the day, it is a way to sort of resurface things. And the other area where it's a wonderful research tool. Okay, if you're a member of the Open EXO community, I'm showing you what are effectively pretty good research tools these days. You can come in here to the TV tab, and you could search for. I have no idea what this is going to show. Okay, you can search for staking, and you'll find that Mark, Suman, Cesar all talked about staking inside the video. Think about that for a second. That's pretty neat. Right now, there's a feature coming. It's not live yet. I think it's going to come live in January, where now that I've searched for staking and it showed me this session with Cesar, you can wave at the camera there, Cesar. If I click on it, you'll notice it takes me to the beginning of the video. Right now, I think in January or February, it's going to take you right to the section in the video where Cesar said staking. I am super excited about that, but it's not live yet. So heads up on that. Pretty neat. And so again, why am I showing you this in the EXO Economy Call? Because if you're thinking about crypto and you want to learn or you want to research, you want to find other people in the community, right, that are doing stuff. I mean, look, if I just search for crypto, you'll find all kinds of other talks and people. Here's something in an SDG Impact Fund announcement at the Small Business Summit. Ann Connolly is one of our community members who works exclusively crypto, I think, these days, and blockchain, and maybe not exclusively. I don't know. I have to ask her. I haven't talked to her in a little while. But she did a live session with Kevin Allen on Open EXO Live. There's Ann. And so you can find out from her what she's been working on in the space, adjacent spaces in this case. So anyway, that's it. I just want everybody to really be aware that this is out there. It's there for you. We've all worked. Oh, and I'm going to give one. There are two talks in here that I just think everybody on this call, or if you're watching the YouTube channel, you should just go watch. Okay. I mean, they're very, very good. One is Technology is Deflationary by Jeff Booth. Okay. This talk it's a little scary, but at the same time, you want to watch this talk, right? If you care about crypto, blockchains, money, economics, right? It's what is it? It's like 13 minutes of time very well spent. This talk is an interview where Salim, oh, not that one, sorry. That's a cool talk too, but not the one I'm thinking about. Where are you?
You're not on screen.
This
anymore.
one. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Nikki. So this talk here, epic discussion, crypto, cryonics, DAOs, molecular computation, blockchain, and more. It really is all that and more. 38 minutes and 53 seconds between Ralph Merkle, really one of the fathers of the underlying cryptographic technologies that made blockchains possible, Merkle hash. You want to watch this talk. It's just so cool. Like I go back and watch it. I love it. I think it's one of my favorite interviews Salim's ever done. And I've seen a lot of his interviews by association. So check it out. And then if you're a member of the OpenEXO platform, we've even posted The Meaning of Life. This is content that's only available inside here. This is quite a beast to watch. It's 2 hours long, I think, in this case. And I've been to the session live and virtual. And we don't share this too much outside public. So we put it inside. It's inside the platform. But any platform member can go and enjoy this philosophical discussion and a bunch more great stuff. So check it out. End of advertisement. But enjoy. These are learning tools. They're phenomenal. And we should all be producing content and you can work with the EXO World Media team to get that content published or whatever. So, and as I said to Nikki, I look forward sometime early next year to having a dedicated channel specifically, or actually a whole video hub, not just a single channel, but a whole hub that lives on the EXO Economy site. So those are the things I'm thinking about right now. And I want to talk about the last piece. Where are we? Are we over time already? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, everybody. It's that kind of day. Okay, then we're not going to talk about this today. I'm going to leave you with a parting thought, and we'll have to talk about it over the next few days. It's time I said this last week, I'm going to say it again this week. It's really time for the EXO community, the open EXO community of 7,100 plus people, most of which I think, well, you know what, this may not be true anymore. Most of which should have tokens. And I've definitely had the opportunity to earn them in the marketplaces in various other ways, even through their certifications and training programs and stuff that Yaroslav talks about. It's time to take this token into the public. Okay, period. Right. I don't have a lot more to say on that today, other than to say it's clear that it's time. Right. We've sort of been a small, private, complementary currency-based economy for a while, trading our services with one another, with EXOs, but it's now time to get that pegged to things like Bitcoin and US dollars, so that it can start to make its way out into a wider world in a variety of fashions. So maybe everybody can just think about that over the holidays, and how you want to participate. But there's no way I do this by myself. It's not possible for me just to do it by myself. Nor is it even advisable. The community needs to help take it forward. It'll be marketing, PR, technology pieces. We'll need to give the wallets to exchanges. There'll be funding mechanisms that have to happen out of the Treasury, guys. The Treasury might not even have enough in it right now necessarily to do some of the things we want to do. So those things have to be considered. So there's a large body of work that needs to come together, and part of the reason we've brought Eric on as a project coordinator is to help us get our act together a little bit. So I'll be talking a lot more with Eric about this and asking him for his help to move it forward, and that's it. So I'll stop there to let everybody get out of here on reasonably on time. Sorry for the overage. I try not to do that. Any last words, anybody today, other than happy holidays to you and your families? Please be safe. It is not entirely safe out there with the crazy virus running rampant across the globe. So take care of yourselves, take care of your families. Don't do things you don't have to do outside, please, because I want all of you back happy, healthy, and ready for 2021. It's going to be amazing. So thank you so much, everybody.
Happy holidays,
everyone.
everyone.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Take care.